Hey guys, I got good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I was so focused on setting things up, I was like, "Oh crap, I haven't eaten," and I know if I don't eat halfway through the stream, I'll like, oh, I start getting really hungry. Let me catch up with chat really quickly. Yeah, guys, you're seeing me work on swords, Dan. Good morning, Kathy, Kevin. Good morning. Um, hey, Mr. Friend from Scotland. Got Field Walker. Thank you so much. Show you the swords. I will. Let me get a couple more bites. mm, mm. I do. I do eggs on toast, like how Brits do beans on toast for breakfast. Mm. But I'll show you the blades. Mm. This is the blade. It is made. Um, I did a video on this build. I think I called it a Roman sword. Of course, everybody went on and on to tell me how historically that's incorrect, but whatever. That's what I called it. But it's supposed to be like it's made from bronze. And Doug says beans on toast here is an anytime snack. Okay, got it. I stand corrected, Doug. Sorry. Um, so originally I made a hero sword. I made this first, and then John, my friend, is getting ready to start making his movie, and it's kind of a weapon in the film, and he does fight with it, and it's a kind of a centerpiece of the story. And I realized that, well, you're going to need more than one. So now he's got his financing to make his film. I made this for him as a pitch, as a prototype for his movie. And now that I'm making, you guys can see overhead, I made two of them. Those are the two stunt ones. This is the hero one right here. And they're both made this all the same way, with grinding and sanding. A lot of grinding and a lot of sanding. That's why I did a little post about my downdraft table, and people went nuts for it. So if you do grinding or sanding foam, you definitely want to build yourself a downdraft table. Mm. 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 What time is it there? Oh, it's literally 10 minutes past 9 a.m. on a Sunday. It's 5:15 p.m. there. Yeah. The field walker mask is the reason I do that. Is I found out when I started streaming, I have a lot of followers in overseas, and it's more evening for them. So when I get up early, the earlier I stream, it's about 5 to 6 their time, like England and Scotland. So it's nice. I like that time zone where people can. Oh, we can catch Ted now, because you're usually home from work or whatever. I used to do it on the weekdays, but now I do it on Sundays. Mm. Oh, man, thank you so much. I'm glad you like the swords. Swords of Moses. You kind of, I guess, I don't know the lore. Yeah, sure, in the future. You are correct. Mm. So, I have some acrylic paint and some brown. I'm going to mix up a wash to go over it really first. At first, we're going to do to knock them down a little bit. Then once I do that, I might go back. I'm going to be my initial wash, and I like when aging stuff, especially props. I like to do all three. Like you see, I have 3 swords. It's just nice to do all at the same time. So what you're doing, you're making sure they all look kind of like somewhat the same. And my God, we would do that all the time at the hand prop room. That's all we did was just weather stuff. They wanted it to be perfect. It's got to match. And I'm like, dude, you're never going to see it on screen. There's people winging things around. Yes, you're correct. In Hebrew, you are correct. That's the name of God on the blade. It's he's fighting in this film. He's fighting some evils, some demonic evils in this movie. Come on, guys. I'm almost done, guys. I promise. I was eating off stream, and I thought, well, everybody's waiting for me. I should just pop on and chat and eat and tell people what I'm up to today. And I got some gloves on too. I got my my paint clothes on. I got my paint shirt. I have paint clothes. At least I try to when I'm painting. All right. You guys are here with me. I'm going to do a post later today, but August is my birthday month. August 13th is my birthday. So I'm going to be turning 61 this year. And so I'm having like a little party with friends, and I'm making people dress up as their favorite character from a 1980s movie. And just a random character from a 1980s movie. Because my wife loves themes for parties. So. So yeah, I'm going to be turning 61 August 13th. And if you guys would like to celebrate my birthday, you can buy a t-shirt. You could buy a pattern, tell a friend. You could go to I have a P.O. box. You can mail me a birthday card. I mean, there's a crow eating something outside my hotel window. Hi, Becky. Oh, nice. What town are you at, Becky? Your hotel room? Are you traveling? You on vacation? Or are you working? Oh, the breakdancing was terrible. Dude, I've seen people on the street do amazing stuff. I've seen hip-hop videos and dance competitions on TikTok. The Olympics was sad. It was like a parody of a hip-hop dance. I was like, what is that? It's terrible. I guess what the foam blades made from yoga blocks? No. Oh, at Elko, that's right. So you're at Elko started. That's right. Thanks, Becky. Send my love, everybody. Hey, Neil. Good morning. No, what it is, it's two. Dan. I mean, I'm always saying, is it Daniel? Right? Am I saying that right? Is it Daniel? Again, I'm great at phone. I'm bad with names and bad at reading. But Daniel, right? I said it to Daniel. I said it correctly. Is it's I have a whole big I have a video build on this called "How to Make a Roman Sword," and it's two pieces of 10 millimeter foam glued together. I made a rod and everything, put it sandwiched between two foam. I cut out the silhouette, and then you just grind. A lot of sanding, a lot of grinding in it. That's why I had to get my downdraft table going. Oh, thank you, Becky. Yeah, I tell them I'd love to come back. I think it's a new con. It's just growing pains. They're learning. They got people coming, and they want it. I mean, it's great because it's one day, so they want to bring a lot. They want to have a lot of bang for the buck for one day. I think it's nice. I think eventually ElcoCon will eventually become a 2-day thing. I think they're like, well, it's just an event. What's there to do on different days? I'm like, you'd be surprised. Because it's so small, you can see everything in one day. I think that's kind of their thinking. So, but you can squeeze in more events and stuff, which is nice. But okay. Breakfast is in my belly. We are ready to go, everybody. These sword blades, I'll show you guys really quickly. These are the sword blades from the movie. The two top ones are rubber. They're rubber coated. The one down below was the very first one I did. It's a little thinner, and it was done with creature cast rubber, and it's a little bit firm, and it's more of a hero blade. Like, it's more for close-ups and like if they're talking or doing dialogue with it and stuff. And the two other ones are stunt blades, which again I just made them identical, but you can definitely feel the difference if you're holding them. But the two are coated with rubber, and they're just made to take a beating. Now the paint I'm using is enamel paint. I wouldn't recommend that normally for props, but it's very bright and metallic, and I'm just going to. It's going to get weathered down a lot, but I wanted something bright and shiny underneath it to create that like metal look. But I know I'm going to weather it and weather down with some acrylic paints and wipe it off. And so with the stuff that comes through, I want it to be very, very shiny. And again, once I do all this, I might go back with some different metallics and do some different dry brushes on it to kind of give it a different. Because when metal ages and patinas, there's so many different hues and different colors that when you just do one color and you do a wash over it, it looks okay. But to add more colors and more light makes it more realistic. Because in life, even in flesh tones or metal or something aged or rust, there's so many hues and different shades of color. They're not just two colors, there's multiple colors. And I learned a lot of this from SKS Props. SKS Props is a big man on painting. He does his videos. He goes through very quickly in the videos, but if you watch, he does multiple colors. There's a lot of colors when he paints stuff, especially props. So. Neil, that's a great question. I'll tell you why. They don't know what they're doing. Either the cons have passed hands, or they just do what they do because like this is the way it's done. Like instead of improving, it's the way it's done. There's a great little clip I saw about. Oh my God, Mr. Apple guy, iPhone, Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs. He was the first one to go to Macintosh, the app that making these computers are like $12,000. He's like, and he starts saying, "Why are we doing all this and subbing this out?" And like, well, this is the way it's been done. So he started going through manufacturing and finding all the bottlenecks and finding out what was making things so expensive. And started going to people who could make things quicker and faster. It's like, don't have these guys do this, have this guy do this part, have these guys, and he combined it all together. He started industrializing to where he made a computer like $1,000, and he changed the game. Well, and created Apple, and it's because he was the first one to challenge. Like, hey, why we do that? That doesn't make. That's just the way we do it. And so with cons, I think it's the same way. Like, well, it's just the way we do it. Well, it's ineffective. It's poorly run. You guys don't know what you're doing. And if it's a new convention, it usually it's. I always cut slack for new conventions. They're starting up. They kind of struggle a little bit, and understandable. My favorite con, and it's not new by any standards. They've been at for years. It's LA Comic Con. I'm sorry, not LA. Anime LA. Scratch the first one. Hey, the modifier. Good morning, sir. How are you? It's Anime LA. Anime LA is a local convention, and they've been around for a long time, and they're growing. And they're at Long Beach right now. They were in Anaheim, and they moved to Long Beach. And a couple of years, I think we're 3 or 4, 5 years in on the. How many years they've been at Long Beach Convention Center? And every year, it's such a great convention because it's very, everybody comes there like the same people every year. This becomes such a family-based people, and it's getting bigger and bigger. And I know that they like it where it's at. I mean, it's getting a little bigger, and they like it. They wanted to get a little bigger, but they don't want to get too big. And I asked them, did you guys ever want to be like as big as Anime Expo? And they're like, oh, no. But they do the same thing that Anime Expo does. They bring entertainers from Japan. They bring Japanese artists. The guy that did Gundam, I was with him last year, and he's just a sweet guy. And he does all these designs and stuff for the Gundams. And I had breakfast with him. It's just like, it's amazing to see these super talented people. And they pull them all in from Japan and everywhere for this convention. And it's not crazy overpacked. It's such a wonderful convention. So you guys, if you are based in California, I highly recommend, if you have not done Anime LA, definitely do it, because this year I'm going to be doing workshops. It's going to be my first time doing, I did one in Chicago, which was a learning curve, but now I'm local, and it's a lot easier for me to do something local because I'll have everything I'll have my supplies with me, opposed to shipping and flying everything out. So any good tips on smoothing out foam that's already has plastic dip on it? Smoothing it out like in a surface. Well, plastic dip it's kind of hard to sand. You can apply stuff over it. I like rapid fill. I like gap filler. I love gap filler. Gap filler is a Prop Monkey Studio stuff. You can lay it on there and let it dry and sand it. It's kind of like a flexible Bondo, a way of using it. I also added some green washes over my Fallout props. It adds a little. So yeah, right. It does. It's doing washes. Sounds like my local con. They're trying it, but they all focus on cars and minimum guests and skip voice actors and social media folks. Yeah, they all almost. It's really weird. Like every time I go to a con, it's always the same people. Like big cons, always to get the same actors, same voice actors. They just travel. It's like, dude, the people, you got to get the social media, the internet people, like people myself and the makers. It's just really, it's weird. I don't know, but the cons have dropped off for me quite a bit. I know the year it's kind of picking back up slowly, but I'm really I stopped pushing for cons. I used to like, hey, get me out there. I'm like, if they want me, they'll get me. So what I'm gonna start doing, start painting, and just stay home and make content. Do some little movie jobs like this one right here, and make some content about it, and keep making and educate you guys about foam. So I like cons, but there's just it's kind of a bit of a mess right now. What's going on? So I guess switch over to your iPhone now. All right. All right, let's do it, guys. Let me get my washes. Hold on. I'm going to adjust the camera. Let's go overhead real quick. Need some gloves. Now again, I'm working with acrylic paints. That's not really necessary. It's just easy. When I worked at the prop house, we dealt with so much stuff that every day I just got to a point where I just put on gloves immediately. We had gloves everywhere, so I'd put them on, work. In between jobs, I'd take them off. It's just a lot easier and faster than washing your hands every time. So just got used to having gloves on all the time. Oh yes, I love MegaCon as well too. MegaCon was an awesome con. It was my first time going to that one. Apparently they've been around for some time, and people are like, "Oh yeah, MegaCon!" Like, so I went with my friend Chuck, who had his whole little social media thing, and he caters to YouTubers and creators, and so I was kind of with him and his setup. So I wasn't. So MegaCon didn't really bring me out; they brought him out, and I was part of the package. So they pitched me and this and another couple guys, and I sat next to some YouTubers and other guys who weren't makers, just other YouTubers. And they're nice. It was a lot of fun. This one guy just made a career just going around interviewing people, and he was really good at it. I like people that have a natural knack for something. Because in the old days, you had to go and prove people who you were. It's just, and now with social media, if you're good, put it out there. Like this, look at what I'm doing. Oh, how long did it take you to make the? I didn't make them together. I made them separately. This was about 3 or 4 days. I made I made a video on this one. Yeah, it was about cutting it. It's about 2 days, about 4 days. 4 days to make this guy. I painted it in the video, but I have to match them, so I have to repaint this one. And these guys, I did about 3 or 4 days. Like, this was done about, cut them out, shaped them up. 3 days. Yeah, I did these guys in 3 days. It goes faster when you make them at the same time. I just zoned out like a factory and just cranked them out. You guys follow me on my social media. I cranked these guys out in about 3 days, both of them. So that's the benefit of working from home, you know. All right, let's get down to business. Let me get some brown. I'm gonna go heavy on the brown. Tell you what, let me it's a dark brown. I want to mix some I want some burnt sienna or something in there too. Well, maybe how about this? I'm going to do the brown first. We'll do a brown blackish wash first. Very, very. I'm not going to go too heavy. I'm going to go pretty light, and then once it dries, I can see it. I can think about doing some dry brushes of different colors on it. Yeah, let's do that. So, I want to have a little bit of control over it. And let me get some tongue depressors. Yeah, when mixing paint, I don't want to stick my brush in there because then they get the paint on the brush and then it's like, so I take a tongue depressor, take some brown, like that. Yeah, I'm gonna go pretty heavy with this. All right. Then we take some black. Now the black, I'm not going to go heavy on. Here, hold on. So I don't put the brown paint in the black. I just kind of wipe it off. See? So I go back in again because I don't want to contaminate my paints because I've done that in the past. Not too much black. Black is very overpowering. You don't want to go too heavy with the black. Yeah, a little nervous. I don't want too much black. Here. Just a little bit more. Hold on, just a little bit more. Okay. And then got some water. dry. It seems like a lot of water, Ted. Let me pour some of that out. Yeah, there you go. See, it's a really ruddy brown. That's what I wanted. Yeah, no, I think it's pretty thick. Get some more water. All right, here we go. We're going to start with this sword first. Now, the purpose of this is just to knock down the newness of it all. And this paint under here is enamel, so it's definitely going to resist the water acrylic, which is nice. So since it's enamel based, it's going to make the water beat up, which is fine because we're going to want that to pop through. See, like that. Other side, like this. There's a little knob here on the end. I'll show you guys. This guy. I don't want to miss him. All right. So now, I'm going to take a dry brush and just thin it out like this. And that thins it out, helps it dry quickly too. You know, I realized something, guys. I need hangers for this. I hope I still have them. Oh, hope I didn't throw those guys away. Because I realized when I painted these guys, I had them on little wire hangers, and that's how I want this. I want this acrylic paint to dry too. I don't want to lay it down because it won't dry like this. I have to put it on a hanger. So let me see if I still have my hanger. Stand by. Woo, I do. These are the baling wire. I sharpen one end and got a hook, so I push in the back end. But let's do this guy a little bit. Now, again, this is a very, very light minimum wash on it because we're going to let this dry and go back in and do some highlights. What I like to do is when I let it dry, I go back in with the paper towel and some denatured alcohol, and I do a little rubbing on it, and it wipes off the stuff that dries and lets the bronze kind of show through. Like this is the word right here. You guys can kind of see it, but it's not really dark enough. So when this dries, I'll probably go back in with some darker, like more blacks and stuff, so I can make this pop more. Oops, sorry. This looks great. I really like this. Again, this is just the first initial wash. But it's just knocking that newness off of it is what you want to do. Let's here. Yeah, still a little heavy there, huh? What's exciting about this is one of many things I'm making for this film. I have a remember those masks I made earlier? I made that mask pattern live, and that's also for the same film. Cassie, the production designer on the show, she liked the mask, but she wanted it more organic, a little bit more creepy because they're supposed to be unworldly. You know, these guys, less mechanical and more organic. And so I have some ideas for that. So I'm gonna take that pattern and do some changes on it to make a prototype to show her. And if she likes it, then we can definitely go with that. And I will definitely show you guys that one too when I get to it. But right now, the sword. It's not really dark. There you go. Get that dark in there. That's it. There's the ticket. Get that. Got that. Hey guys, really quickly, if you guys are watching me on Twitch, thank you so much, but I'm streaming from my live stream, so I'm doing a simulcast going on Twitch and YouTube at the same time, but my chat is open on YouTube. So if you guys have any questions, you want to chat with me, by all means, please hop over to YouTube on the Evil Ted channel and come by and say hello. I love that Twitch is allowing me to stream at the same time, so my Twitch family can see me as well. But if you guys want to chat with me, I have only the YouTube chat, because I'm old, I can't multitask and have two chats open because my brain will explode. All right, this is drying. This is looking. Oh wow, this looks great. It's so funny because it's just something that's a simple wash. I mean, it looks looks better than I thought it would. Looks better, as my friend likes to say, it looks better and has a right to. All right, you know, it's funny. I went through all the trouble to get the wires. I'm realizing this is dry enough to set down. I like this. Okay, guys, this is the first one. Not bad. All right, set this aside. Let's do, again, round two. Okay. All right, do the same thing. That's why I'm glad I made a big batch of this this weathering, because I'm going to do a lot of this. Now the difference between this one, like I said, this is rubber, and it's made to take a little bit more beating, because in the show he does fight with this blade. And I told John, I said, if you're going to fight with it, you're going to definitely need more than one. And I thought 2, and just to play it safe, make 3. And that's just if like something happens, the sword gets damaged on set, there's no time to fix it, so you just grab another one. So that's the reason for 3. Most shows and bigger productions, they go nuts. They'll make a ton of things. There's an old saying: if you have one, you have none. When you're making a movie or a production, you have a prop, especially if it's a signature prop or a hero prop that's the focus of the story. And if something happens to it, it disappears, and you're kind of screwed. For example, there's a low-budget movie. Always cracks me up. It's called Robot Jocks, right? And it was a sci-fi movie where in the future disputes are settled between robot wars. The robots fight each other and they battle, and everybody's like, if you have a conflict, you just bring your bot out and you fight. And it's neat. It was basically Stuart Gordon loved all the giant robot stuff, and he wanted to make a giant robot movie, so couldn't get the rights to anything, so he just thought I'll just make my own. So and it's a fun little film. But the reason I'm talking about it is because it was Stuart Gordon, so it was relatively low budget. And there's a scene where there's a hypo gun, like an injector gun, and there's a close-up of the hand grabbing the injector gun. This is a really cool-looking prop. And then when they go to the medium shot, he's holding a silver spray-painted hot glue gun. You can totally see it. It's a hot glue gun spray-painted silver. And in your brain, I'm like, wait a minute, that's not the thing you just grabbed. And so I'm laughing, like, what's the story? What happened there? Because the close-up is really cool. And then the prop they're using is a hot glue gun painted silver. It just was terrible. So apparently, I'm guessing, either they lost it or they shot the scene and this looks terrible. So let's make a prop for a close-up or something. I don't know what the pattern or what the issue was, but it's distinctly something different. And the gun they were grabbing looked really cool, and then when they go to the medium shot, it's a completely different prop. And it just jumped out at me because it looked terrible. And that, and being a prop person, because I love movie props, and so when I watch movies, I love looking at props. Hi guys, real quick, I'm gonna catch up with chat. How do they find this? The edges. Oh, thank you. Because the edges of the hero prop looks really real. Yeah, it's like I really feathered it down and I ground the edges down to be really thin. I wanted it to look sharp, and I did my best with this one too. If you look overhead on this rubber one, look at that edge. See, make it look dangerous. This is the stunt one, and granted, they are John and Cassie and the creator and John. I think they wanted eventually. They're making this movie. They got half of it done, so this is the second half we're doing right now. He did a Kickstarter, raised money for it, and he got enough money to shoot the half of his, the first half, and he's shooting the mid-second half, and then but he needs money for the third half. And so his plan for a Kickstarter is he wants to, as a gift, mold one of these swords and has it as a gift. And they're talking to me about, hey, can we do that? I'm like, yeah, you can. It's going to be a lot of work. I'm like, you have to decide what you want to make the swords out of, because casting it just gets expensive, and shipping and all that stuff. Like, I think it's a great idea. It's going to be an expense. So again, I'm doing the same drill. I put it on with a brush. I take a dry brush, and I just keep going back and forth, because my plan is I want to keep it thin so it dries evenly. You don't want it to pool up too much. So I just keep going back and forth. And since it's acrylic paint, it dries pretty quick, especially in a warmer climate. And I'm going to definitely get it to a point where it's dry enough. I'll hit it with a hair dryer. But I'm just trying to keep it from pooling, and I'm trying to keep it thin and even. And yeah, it really grabs all this little detail, which is fantastic. This actually the detail is a little deeper on this one than it was on my Hero Prop one. Yeah, well, the hair dryer is, I do a little bit of both. I do hot and cold, but with this kind of stuff, I just put the heat on because I'm just drying paint. I'm drying acrylic paint. It goes faster with the heat on. Because this guy is, wow, this looks great. I'm just so I'm so relieved. It looks so much better than I expected, but it does. It looks great. So. Oh, I did too, Neil. I saw RoboJocks in the theater. I went to the premiere. I went to the screening. Actually, I went to the premiere of that. I had friends that worked on it, so. Still. There, it's getting dry. Yeah, all these little divots were done with a stone bit, a little round one I have. And I'll show you real quick. This guy right here. Close for you guys there. Focus. Little rounded stone bit. I think I have links for these on my website. But high speed, and you just go beep, 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 beep. Yeah, and it's repetitive and maddening. So, but I just try to keep it consistent and spaced out. But that's how I did all the hammer metal effect. It's just taking a rotary tool and just banging it all up. So, and again, you don't do this until you sand everything, and once you get everything shaped up to where you like it, this is the last thing you do. Get it all shaped up to where you're happy, and once you're happy with it and get it all plain and sharp and simple, then you go back in with this guy to create this like hammered metal sword. And that was the effect. Like they hammered it and bound it down to this edge. This looks great. All right. Let's set this aside for number 3. One of the other tricks I'm going to do on this one is that once we're done with the additional wash, I'm definitely going to go back in with oil. I like oil paints because they're very concentrated. So all this stuff, like I'm gonna do the overall aging, but all this stuff on the edges, like this stuff here, or on the handle, and these little rivet guys, definitely gonna go back in. And I want these a lot sharper. So we're gonna go in with some burnt sienna and black oil and stuff, and do the same thing. Go all around the edges and wipe it out, and then, but again, this many layers. So we're gonna do the wash first, then go back in with oils, and really focus on all the nooks and crannies. And definitely, we're gonna do that same thing with the name. We're gonna get in there and make it really sharp and crisp and darker, and might go back in and do some more stuff on the edges to make it a little bit sharper. I mean, with the color, wiping off the paint and making the edges show better. But like I said, it's a series of steps. But everybody, thank you for joining me today on this journey of making these props. This is a independent film my buddy John started. He's been working on this script for years, and he shot one thing called Danger Element, and it was just it was like an experiment. It was like a YouTube, and he shot it in a series of shorts, and because it was just the early days of and he said, my God, he learned so much, and he realized that once he started, it just took forever because he had to get fans to donate money to shoot the film, and these guys were like stretching what they could do, and that's where I met him. He was doing the last part of his Danger Element movie, and I played a robot. I had a very small part in the very end of the movie. I played a robot, like a steam power. Like actually, the going gag is the robot is fueled by petrol. He's like a machine, but he's got gas. He's a petrol. He's a gas tank on his back. It was just so funny and absurd. Hold, flip around, flip around. There we go. Apply on heavy, then dry brush it back and forth. Now you could let it dry, but it'll do this kind of stuff, so you definitely want to take a dry brush. I think it's time for a new dry brush. Swap it out. There you go. That kind of does two things. It kind of sucks up the excess and also helps spread out the paint. The thinner it is, the faster it dries. You just keep going until it's thin enough till you hit it with a hair dryer. Yeah, I'm really proud of myself how fast these guys came together. I told my friend about a couple of weeks, and I just kind of focused and like, oh, this came together a lot faster than I thought it would. But then again, you always forget about painting. Painting takes forever. Oh my God. The Eliminators. Yes. That was Charlie Band, and it was the guy. There was a guy in it. Was a robot, and he had a gag where he would attach it. He would take his legs off and hook himself onto a tank. It was low budget, but the idea was really clever. And it was full moon. Charlie Band. He's super cheap, but the Eliminators, I liked. And it's so funny about that movie was that this guy I worked for, and he ended up having a shop called Precision Effects. And at the time, John Beekler was the go-to. He was the low budget in the 80s, man. You couldn't find any low budget film in the 80s that John Beekler didn't do the stuff on. He was just a big shop, and he was super cheap. And he hired a bunch of talented people, and a lot of great people went through his shop, from Steve Wang and Scream Mad George and Mike Deek and Chris Nelson and Wayne Toth. All these guys are big makeup people, but they started working at Beekler because it was the 80s, and there was nothing but like one low-budget monster movie after another. They cranked them out. And the Eliminators, yeah, dude. But anyway, Mike Hood he worked for Beekler, but he helped build the robot guy. And he said that the knee pads for the robot were these Toys R Us toy shovels that were purple and pink, or purple and blue, or something like that. And they're that polypropylene plastic, and they used it because they were low budget. They were pulling things off the shelves, and they'd paint them. But since the plastic was polypropylene plastic, the paint would just chip and flake off. So they were shooting this movie on location, and Mike was out there, and every time the guy would walk or bump tree or branches, paint would chip off the suit. He's like, God damn it! And so he had to keep patching the suit. And but I liked it. I remember his suit and his had a whole big thing where he would take his chest piece off. It was like, it was very cool. The Eliminators. Yeah, wow. Talk about a flashback. I rented that. I was a kid. I was like, what's this? And I rented it. And it had the girl from Star Trek. She was the blonde she eventually left. And she basically, Worf took her job. She was originally the security. She was the chief security. And she did it for some years. And then I think it was the first, the show started getting good. She didn't stick around long enough. She's like, I'm out. I want to leave. And then she let Denise Crosby or something like that, one of the Crosby kids. But and they tried to bring her back. She wanted to come back, and then they tried to write different characters for her. And like, no. Denise Crosby, thank you. Yeah, and she's in that. She's in The Eliminators. But yeah, that Star Trek gig, she got it, and she left too early. So did Wesley Crusher, I think. He left because they couldn't think of anything to do with him. The writing was terrible on that. The first season, second season better, and then third season was great. Star Trek third season got so good. Next Gen, it is. And I was on board. I got really into it. Because what it was, sad guys, Roddenberry died. When Roddenberry died, he had so much control. He wanted everything to be utopia. He wanted everything to be perfect and no conflicts and no personalities. And everybody's like, that's not interesting for a TV show, dude. So once he passed, and then freed up the writers, and they were able to write good shows. And it literally saved a series. Sad but true. Because he created the Fringies and all that stuff. And yeah. Anyway, I could go on and on. But anyway. Yeah. After third season, man, it was golden. Third season on. Yeah. Next Gen, man. By third season came around, it was so good. I was so invested. That's the old days, guys, where they showed TV shows, one episode a week. There was no binging or anything. You'd watch a show, watch it, next episode. You had to wait. I forgot what my friends would all gather on the TV and watch Next Gen. We tape it, of course. If we missed it, we tape it. That's how we did it. Had to set up your VCR, tape it, commercials and all. Woo, flashback. All right, let's get a hair dryer. right, that's good. All right. Let's go ahead and set that aside for a second. Let me clean up my mess. I know most of you guys caught my rant about missing video stores. That one thing that was interesting that when I was a kid growing up, going to the video store was I would just look. This is a game I would play because when it comes to being, I'm not speaking for myself or most of you guys. When it came to anything fantasy or sci-fi, I've seen it. You name it, I found it. I've seen it. So the idea of finding something you've never seen before, and now with this generation, and the sense of content is overflow. There's so many things I haven't seen. But I would go to the video store and walk around and I'd grab covers. And it was always hit and miss because they make these crappy covers. When it was low budget movies, straight to video, you'd make these guys would kill themselves to make a film, and then the distributors, not the filmmakers, mind you, okay? This is what the guys don't understand. The filmmakers have nothing to say or do with the cover of the book. And it was always a huge mistake. And I always thought that drove me nuts because I knew what I wanted for my movie, but I digress. The point being, the distributors, they know, oh, we know what's best. And they don't. They just throw garbage on a cover like, oh, well, people like this. And it's always some artwork or some crappy artwork. And then, but there might be a good movie in there. So what would I do is I would go to anything sci-fi or horror that sounded interesting. I'd see the box cover, and the more fabricated or painted or photoshopped it was, like, okay. But I would look at the back, or people would say things about things. I'd grab it. It was always a gamble. And I'd always, like, 1 out of 3 times, I'd find something great. Like, oh, what's this? And my favorite one, this is back in the day when I lived here downtown Los Angeles, was a mom and pop store, little video store up in the corner. And I walked in and it had this cover, and it was this cheesy girl with a cat makeup on. It looked terrible, and it was called Ginger Snaps. Like, oh, this looks interesting, yeah. So I get it. I go home. I think of the days that this was still VHS. This wasn't CDs yet. So I throw it on and start to watch, and I was pulled in immediately. And then when the movie's over, I'm like, holy crap, what a great movie. It was a Canadian production, and in Canada, they have a system where they give you money to make movies. It's like it's government finance to make movies. It's so brilliant. And cover was terrible. Watched the movie. It was amazing. Couldn't stop telling people about it. And eventually, this was during the days when we still had cable. It hit cable. So it got the video release, and it was on video stores. And then after a couple of months, it went to cable. And it played on H, and it just exploded. Turns out, and a friend that worked on it, he played one of the werewolves in it. He told me they made that movie. It got, like anything low budget, it got distributed, but it went overseas, international, like Japan and Europe and London, and exploded. It made millions of dollars, and they're like, what? So when they came back, they got greenlit to do a sequel, 3 films, and the guy said, okay, well, we have to write these things, but they ended up doing a prequel and a sequel. So Ginger Snaps, there's Ginger Snaps 2, which is actually the 3rd film. The second one was a prequel, which, don't get me wrong, it's not bad. It's just different. And they're trying to do more of a fantasy weird thing, but it's okay. I forgot what it's called. But then there's Ginger Snaps 2, which is the continuation story of the first. And they had shot that 3rd. I think they said the sequel first, the prequel first, and they shot the sequel later. But anyways, 3 films: Ginger Snaps and then Ginger Snaps 2, with her sister and her story. Both are spectacular, great movies. Yeah, they're werewolf movies, but they did the same thing like they did with which I'm watching right now, The Strain, which I love. Another band. Is taking the basis of original series, like the old lore of werewolves, and doing something original with it. It's like, don't just make a standard werewolf movie. Like American Werewolf in London was brilliant. That was John Landis taking the concept of a werewolf but making something a little bit more grounded, more realistic, and earthbound. And they did the same thing with Ginger Snaps. Ginger Snaps is that, but it's dark, satire, and funny. It's got a real wicked sense of humor. It's violent and creepy, but also very funny. So, again, guys, if you haven't seen Ginger Snaps, it's so good. Again, I was in the days when you would just take a gamble, and I was so pleasantly surprised. And those days are over. Yeah. Strikigo, what? But yeah, guys, Ginger Snaps. Haven't seen it. Okay. Sorry, guys. I started talking about films, and I lost track of what I was doing. Hanging out with you guys is like hanging out with my friends, talking smack about movies. All right, hold on. Let me just do this real quick. Get our swords. There they are. You know, I keep forgetting to do guys. Let me take a picture really quick. I always do this and I forget to take pictures. So let me grab a photo real quick with my phone. Yeah, by the way, I'm getting a new phone. This phone is so beat up and old. Here we go. Okay. And let's get a flip around shot. Hold on, guys. I'll be right with you. Just doing my social media thing right now. Okay. That's better. Thank you. Here, shift. Okay. So now that we have these guys, they're pretty evenly. This one a little bit darker, like because it's a different finish on it. I have some alcohol. Oh, by the way, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe. If you haven't already, please. Oh, the bronze is great. Yeah, thank you, Kevin. Yeah, it looks great. And when you knock it down a little bit, it just really looks better. So what we're going to do next is make some of the brightness pop through. I have a paper towel, and you don't want to go nuts. You have to be very careful. Oh, so I put a little alcohol. I have some denatured alcohol. And what that does is I'll take off some of the acrylic on here. So watch this. See how you can pop, it pops through. See, like that. So I do this. And it still leaves some of it on, but you can see some underneath. And the trick is to get not to go just very light. And we're definitely going to focus on the edges. And just getting the edges so you can see the. Oop! Careful! I just took off some of the paint. See, that's one of the problems. I can have to be careful. Don't want too much, Ted. Careful. Don't rub too hard. You'll end up taking the metallic paint right off. Which, see, oh crap, I'm doing it. See? It's taking some of that paint off. So I'm going to stop on that. Let's not do that. I'm realizing the metallic paint's very thin and also still very fresh. Yeah. We have to be very, very, very light with that technique. Yeah, it sure did. It took some of the paint right off. Look at this. Yeah, I might have to do some touch-ups. Now, you're thinking, how do you do touch-ups? And I'll show you. That's a great idea. Hold on. Let me get a brush. Got a small brush like this. All right, this is the paint that we're using. This is gold. Now, for little screw-ups like this I did, you want to put the metal back on. So you take this, spray into a can, because anything else, or a paper cup. But if you do plastic, it'll melt your plastic. So you don't want to put it in a plastic cup. So you get a little bit in a cup. Dab your brush, like so. Come back here. Touch these guys back up. Because, like a knucklehead, I rubbed the paint right off of it. So we don't want that. So let's put that back on. What I'm going to do, I think from now on, is we're going to go back in with some oil paints. Because I like that everything's kind of muted. So we're going to keep that. I'll definitely have to touch that up now. And see right here where I touch these guys? Touch that up. So you can fix your screw ups. And where's that edge? Yeah, right here. The edge I rubbed off. You guys can see that right here. Touch in here with some paint. Yeah. That might be the way to go. Is you want some highlights? Just take the paint. Just paint. That's not a bad idea. Let's do that. Paint these guys. And just brighten them up a little bit. Just paint the edges. Everything else is dry. Okay, great. Oop, yeah, look at this, man. I took the paint right off. See this, guys? Look at that. Took the paint right off it. That is not the way to do that. There we go. Whew. Good. Okay. Mission accomplished. Okay. So we're going to let that dry. It's funny because the more I'm looking at them, I really like the way they look. I'm almost afraid. Yeah, you're right. Don't want to. Is the next thing to do would be to. I have a bronze rub and buff I really like. That might be the way to go. Hold on. Let's go look at some rub and buffs. I'll be right back. Hey, okay, guys. Hey, guys. We're in luck. On the original build of this Roman sword I did in the original video, I went with the whole technique of just doing anything literally dark black and just dry brush anything. And it did. It looked spectacular. I went heavy and dark, and then kept everything black and just added the colors. I painted the entire thing with rub and buff, not actual paint, but rub and buff itself, and it looked really great. And then when John was gearing up to do the movie, he said, "Hey, I need to make 2 more." I said, "Well, bring the sword back so I can have the original, so I can match the other swords." And when it came back, all the color and all the rub, it just rubbed off over years. It just rubbed off, and like I thought about that. You know, this is a. It made me change my whole philosophy of how to paint these things. So I'm going to just paint them with gold first, and then weather on top, and then build up. And I can add rub and buff on this. It would be better. Therefore, the base of the color is actually here. Because originally I just went black and did rub and buff. It looked cool, probably for a couple of months, and then it just rubbed off. So now that's already painted, these guys look great. We just want to do some highlights on them, and instead of rubbing the paint off the aging, we're going to add, and I do have some antique gold, and hold on, there's one like a bronze. What's this one too? This is like a metallic autumn gold. Yeah, there's different. Let me look at some colors here. I'm not 100% sure on this, so let's take a look. I'm trying to remember the ones I used. Yeah, it's got more of a copper, which is not bad, but it's not what you want. Let's do. There's one that was. It's a gold, but it was more of a bronzy gold. Oh, come on, let go. Here, squirt some of this out. I know you guys can, yeah, this is what I had. I think this is, hold on, this might be it. That is called, Royal Gold. Hold on, it's a little bit more of a, nah, not so much. Now it's drying. I'm not that crazy about it. Hold on. Let's try this guy. Oh, wait, this is it. Hold on. Yeah, that's it. Found it. This is the one I'm looking for. This is the European Gold. And this is the one that's more closer to this guy. Perfect. Okay. So set these guys aside. So now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to take my finger, put a little rub and buff on it, and let's hit the edge. And what's cool too, it's a little bit of a different color. Oh, this looks so good. Therefore, I don't have to damage my my paint job. I just rub this on top. Isn't it great just using some fun crafty stuff? Yeah, it's a lot easier. I don't have to worry about damaging the paint underneath. Again, just on the edges. I don't go too nuts because I like everything else. All right, you're going to do the same thing with the edges right here. Again, it's very subtle. I don't know if you guys can see it or not on video here.
Okay. Sorry guys, I'm concentrating. Ooh, hold on. This is really hard to get out. Let me get a toothpick real fast, guys. Toothpick. Sometimes these guys get clogs. I had to make sure it's not. There. There we go. All right. Mm-hmm. Just focusing on the edge. That was awesome. Thank God for Rub and Buff. So, highlight the top. Make this pop a little more. Again, it's what I like about it, it's a little different in shading, which is nice. Kind of like a little bit of a yeah, it looks great. Okay. What I'm going to do now, I'm not going to go any more on this because I think the next step to do with these guys is I don't want to start adding more gold on top of this. I'm going to start doing aging with the oils because I like everything. I like this patina, so I'd probably go back in certain spots with oil and stuff. But I'm not going to go any more crazy with the highlights. I'm just going to do the same thing in all three of these guys. And then because then we'll do that pass and then go back in with doing some, and just making these crevices, instead of making everything else brighter, make these edges darker. So just make all this pop, and some of these couple of these pits, and also make this God in Hebrew in here very dark too. So and some of these nicks and scratches too, I'll go back in with some black oils and stuff and really darken these things up a little bit more. But yeah, this is awesome. Very happy how they turned out. So this guy is good. Let's send him over here and do the same drill. In the meanwhile, let's catch up with chat. Since you guys know what I'm doing, I can just sit here and talk and do it at the same time. Always remember taking pictures of just how writing the social media posts and get me. I don't. Super Voodoo, yeah, I am the worst. I always forget taking pictures. I did this though on my stream. I did that. I had a picture of them weathered, and now I'm gonna do a picture after I'm gonna take a picture after I do the Rub and Buff. Yeah, the Rub and Buff is a save. I liked it. It's gonna the whole wiping things off with alcohol was not. It was taking everything off because my metallic paint was so thin. Just a little alcohol just took it right off. So I was like, oop, nope, that's not what I wanted to do. So we're just going to go through with the darker gold, the bronzy gold. Yeah, I'm just focused on this edge. I mean, it's definitely a little darker. Let me tell you what, let's look at this. Hang on. Let me take a look at this other gold here. I'm looking at it, I like it, but I want something to be a little brighter maybe. Let's try this. Oops, let's get a toothpick. Sorry, guys. Some of this stuff is waxy on the Roman buff, and if you don't use it very long, the top dries off. So it's best to take a toothpick and just stick it in there. Because I've had this stuff for a long time. I remember doing this job when I bought a bunch of these. It's too gold. I think it's a little too gold. A little too bright. Is this the same one I was using? Oh, it is. Okay, hold on. I had that one. Sorry, guys. I'm playing around with these golds here for a second. Hold on, guys, changing plans. This particular gold really, hold on. It's a little more poppy. Is this the one? Which one am I using? Oh, see, now I'm getting confused. Hold on. It's like, which one am I using? Here, I gotta wipe this, because my fears I'm gonna put my hand in this and stuff's gonna go everywhere. Hold on, let me rethink this here for a second. Hold on, guys, I'm gonna get a piece of cardboard real quick. The dark stuff's dark, but it's almost like too dark. I'm looking at it like so hold on for a second. Let's try this for a second. The one thing about Roman buff is that you can't get it off. Once you put it on something, it sticks. So, oh, Ted, dumb. Here, put on this cardboard. Yeah, I like this better. Hold on, this is a little bit more poppy. Hold on. And the only satisfactions I know is that I'm definitely going to go back and darken these edges, and that will make this aging look a little bit more even. Just want to have these, because all the cracks and crevices look really good. You just want to have them pop more, because you have to realize over the years, just grime and dirt got in there. And I think in the story he finds it as is, like it's not in a museum. It's like he finds it somewhere. Yeah, it's actually a good question. I should talk to John about. But it was one that he just described because I want it really weathered and old. I'm like, all right, got it. Yeah, that's it. Okay, this is looking good now, guys. I like this. We changed on the rub and buff. The rub and buff was a little bit dark. I liked it, but it wasn't popping as much as I wanted to pop. And what I mean by popping is having it a little bit brighter than everything else. So it just kind of jumps up. All right, this is looking good. This is looking good. So what did you guys do today? Oh, we sat there and we watched Ted play with rub and buff. And a little down the middle. Wow, this, oh my god, this looks so good. Yeah, looks good, good, good. I just gotta do the other side. All right. Yeah, stuff goes. One thing about rub and buff, it goes a long ways. You just keep going with it. Yep. And this on the edge. Yeah. Okay. All right. Yep. I say this one's done. So yeah, literally this one's done. The next step is going back with oil. So let's go ahead and do the rub and buff technique on all these guys. It's really fun. This is what I'm doing right now. This is the hero one. This is the hero prop that I'm doing right here. A little more finesse to this one. This is kind of, they call it the close-up prop. Like with this, anything with this sword is heavily featured. And to be this guy. and the other two I built are made to fight. But you work really hard to make sure that they look identical. And for fight scenes and things, I think that's gonna be fine. This is gonna be. Okay, see how pronounced and darker this one is too. All right, flip it over, other side. I'm sorry, guys. Let me catch up with chat. See, 3 blades, Wolverine. Always remember to take pictures. Yes, I did that. Paper towels are more abrasive than you think. That you know something. You're absolutely right. If it was fabric, it would have been better. You're absolutely right. Paper towels are more abrasive than people take credit for. You're correct, sir. I got a little heavy-handed too, though, because the spray paint itself is not. It's not very thick. Yeah. Sorry, I gotta move this edge. Eventually, I'm going to have to clean off my fingers because it's getting gunked up with the waxy stuff. I'm sorry, guys. Overhead. I zoned out. You guys aren't like, what is he doing? Yep, this is it. Oh, it's beautiful. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Okay. Make sure these guys look the same. They do. Wonderful. Fantastic. These guys look identical. I know if you look at the picture, they're kind of the same, but I'm just going to do a little bit of rub and buff on this guy too, and we'll call it done. And definitely going to go back in with some darker blacks. But for right now, let's focus on the gold. Hold on a second, guys. I got this bottle of alcohol. I'm going to clean my finger off because it's getting thick and gunky, and I can't get, yeah. Paper towel. Yeah, get this stuff off my fingers. Yeah, that's it. Okay. Yep. Just want to get these fingers, get a little more control. I'm sorry, somebody was asking, did I seal them? I know about sealing the sword, because the swords, yeah, they're sealed with rubber. First one was creature cast. Second one was the Stunt 2 were coated with rubber, just a little bit more durable. And the handles get wrapped. Here, I can unwrap this one for you guys. This is the, let me take this, I painted these guys gold, so I had to saran wrap the mask. I'll show you really quickly here. This is what the handles look like. I might I think I have some leather to match this, but if not, I'll probably end up having to rewrap this. I get it the same leather. I got to wrap all of them so they can all be identical. I mean, granted, that he holds it 90% of the time. It's in his hands, but yeah, this is that's the handle. The thing is, the leather's very thin. You don't really see it. It's but it's nice. It looks good. But I have to do this on all the other two. But yeah, there it is. I like this. The only thing it needs to be all the edges much darker, because you look at it and you can see it, but you guys can barely see these guys. You can see all this stuff. So in film, you have to make things pop and go darker. So I don't know if you guys. I went to some costume SAG, like some costume guild display, and they had the costumes from Rogue One, and they had some of the armor and the characters. They had all the costumes on display. And the first thing that jumped out is that they're weathered, like weathered the shit out of them. But when you watch the movie, they look used, but they don't look weathered as they are in person. It made me realize that when you're doing stuff for film, especially going to conventions, photos, stuff, you have to go heavier on paint. What looks good up to this looks great up close, but the camera, you don't see any of this detail. It gets lost. So you have to really pump it up. So I have to really go back in with the black and browns, all these edges, and the nicks and scratches, and I have to fill them in with a darker oil paint so they pop, so you can see them. So, but yeah, this guy looks good, but I have to do the run buff on all these guys, but I have to go back and definitely weather the crap out of them with some oils and stuff, which will make them pop. Did I this one too? That one's done, right? That one's done. That one's done. Yeah, this one's done too. So I just went a little more gold here on this edge. Hold on. I saw a spot that I missed. Okay, done. We were earlier talking about movies and things going to video stores, and now there's so many things you can keep track of. But I've recently been watching this show, early 2000. It's called The Strain. It's a vampire plague movie. It's really well done and well written. And I was like, and I'm just now watching it, and I'm like, holy crap, it's so good on effects. I haven't seen it. Oh. Dude, I'm definitely getting more than I asked for. Effects, right. It's on Hulu now. Originally it was an effects series, and I always wanted to watch it, but it was back in the day where if you missed an episode, you missed an episode. So it's coming in like it was like second, third season. I saw one episode. I'm like, oh, sounds cool, but if you don't know the characters, the lore behind it, I was like, what's going on? So now that years later, it's on I can watch it on Hulu for free. I just sit on my butt. By the way, I don't pay for it. I watch it free like the old days with TV. Everything's cable now, Everything went back to cable. They talk about cutting the cord and everything. Like, whatever. It's still cable. Everything's regressed to cable. We're all watching shows on another network. Yeah, great show. And now it's on Hulu. And I was watching it. Because somebody was, I read, who it was, somebody was like raving about shows that if you haven't seen, you should definitely check out. And I think The Strain was one of them that he said. I'm like, yeah, The Strain, I remember that show. I always wanted to see it. So I found it, I started watching it, and it hooked me. I really dug it. There's a really nice, they do some neat little back and forth, little time jumps. Because this guy you're following is pretty old. But no spoilers. The thing he does to keep himself. He's a survivor of the Holocaust, but he shouldn't be. He should be dead. You know, he's up in his 90s, but apparently there's a little trick he's learned. It's a nice little twist in the show. Oh, sorry, guys. Overhead. I zone out. I'm like, if you guys don't know really quickly, my friend Becky was in chat. She's at a convention called ElcoCon, which is Elko, Nevada. It's a small little convention that the city puts on, and they do it like any con once a year, but it's one day. And what's great about it, it's their second time they did. I was at their first con, and everybody was like, "What?" Like these people that live out there have never been to a convention, and so now they got a local one they're doing. And I don't know who's the guy that's running it. It's actually a neat idea, and local people are like going to their first con. It's such a great thing. But it's a one-day event, and I went last year, and it was just so nice and quiet and humble and small. I really liked it. I had a really good time. And my friend Peter and I went, my assistant, and I told him, I said, we'll come back anytime. I think I even dropped my rate just to go. Because I just wanted to support what they were trying to do. And I think they catered to a lot of actors this year, which is nice. I mean, they want to bring other people in. So they brought a bunch of people, actors and whatnot, for this con. And my friend Becky Going Ape is there this year, and she's there right now. And Becky's great. She does workshops, and she judges the costume contest. She loves judging. I do not like it. That's why she's my wingman. I kind of follow her lead in a lot of stuff because I don't like doing it. That is my least favorite thing to do. I hate judging costume contests. I think people know what they like and what they don't like, and the whole judging thing. I know people really get into it, but this whole competition thing. Other edge. The other thing too I'm going to do is I'm going to put a clear coat on these guys. I used to do I did a matte finish before, and I'm not sure if I'll do a matte finish this time around because I think if it has a bit of a sheen, it catches the light, it might look a little interesting. I don't want it to get, because it is metal, you know, I don't want it to get too flat looking. All right. There it is. I have done it. Well, the first wave. I'm definitely going to do the go in with the darker oils, but we're not going to do that on stream because it's a couple of minutes till 11 o'clock. Hey, everybody. Let me get all adjusted back up. Oh, God, I still got plenty of coffee, which is awesome. Catch up with chat, do some coffee. He's going effects back. Worm milk. That's right. The worm milk, and also they would take the white to drip into his eyes to extend his life. It's got so. It's just the writing is really good. I really dig the show. There was a clip on YouTube of the strain where you could see everyone was in skin-colored latex. Everyone was in skin-colored latex. I've been a cosplay just for. It's been rough. I've been doing it for 3 years now, and people don't know what I like. So I suggest new judges this year. Oh yeah, I'm about 8 hours behind them. I'm sorry. What is about the latex clip on YouTube with the strain where you could see everyone was in skin-colored latex? I know it's part of the gag in the show is that yeah, he lives in the future. It's the future. I'm thinking I'm on my third season. I'm halfway through the third season. It's gotten good. I know. A show like this, you have to. Here's what I like about these shows, that they have a story arc, they have, and they follow it. And their show has an end. The days of like trying to have series that run forever and they drive into the ground is ridiculous. What was network TV they did with X-Files and all these other shows. Any show starts good. They got started getting with 6 Feet Under was a great show, a drama show by these people that ran a funeral home. And they said when they made the show they had an arc, and they did the same thing with The Sopranos. The show was huge, people loved it, and they're like, no, it's got an arc, we're going to end it. Like, what? The only problem is sometimes they don't, like Battlestar Galactica, they kind of painted themselves on a corner. I love that series, and they wanted to get another season to finish their story arc, and Sci-Fi's like, no, this is your last season, you're done, we can't afford you anymore, you're killing us. So they had to squeeze all the stuff that they wrote and made up, and they kind of wrote themselves on the corner, and then they had to wrap it all up, and the ending was terrible. And like the same thing with people always bitch like Game of Thrones, but Battlestar Galactica, it ended really bad. Like they just got weird toward the end. But that's what happens. But you just got to write a story arc, and like Josh Whedon did that with Firefly. He had a whole thing he wanted to tell, and then the series got canceled. But then it was the most popular DVD sale ever in history series, and so they gave him his rights back, and he made a movie called Serenity, which was the story arc of the whole. So if you love the Firefly series, the last season is literally Serenity. You can watch the movie by itself, and it wraps up his story he wanted to do. I think it was like a hallway in the Vamps where a guy gets attack a guy. Yeah, you're probably a little bit further in the movie. I'm sure I'll get to that part. Or a morgue. Gets at a morgue. They worked at a morgue. That's what it was. I just knew they prepared bodies for funerals. Yeah, it's when you're on a series, it changes things. When you're based something on a book, you're absolutely right. It's a lot, people. It just trying to squeeze all that information, and then that's like, not to get into the whole the Acrylic series controversy, which I think everybody said, even the guys who did criticize the show were like, the concept of the story's not bad for the Acrylic, what she wanted to do. She just had terrible writers, terrible showrunners. It's like they had a huge franchise. They did the same thing with Star Wars when they did want to do a new Star Wars series. Like, oh, we're gonna take all the original characters you love and kill them off quickly and badly, and then bring these new people in. And everybody's like, so the other people like that's terrible. So they just got J.J. Abrams, who would do anything. I hired him, and he just crapped out a show. Did he have a story arc for the 3 films? No, he just made a movie, a standalone movie. He didn't have a plan. He didn't have a story arc. He didn't have 3 pictures that would all tie together and tell a story. It's a mess. He made his movie, then somebody else came and made their movie, and then he came back and made his movie. Yeah, like the last 3 of the big Star Wars movies. They're terrible because they're a mess. They don't make any sense. They don't tie together at all. So, anyway, I'm done ranting. Just wanted to... But anyway, love the series Strain. It's great. Hey, everybody, really quickly. I'm going to be wrapping this up shortly. I'll make a social media post later, but I can tell you guys here at my YouTube family, it's my birthday, August 13th. August 13th is my birthday. I am going to be turning 61. What? 61. I had some plans. I start making some career choices and changes I want to do. Because you're never too old to do stuff and change things, right? Yeah, I heard about that. Well, here's the thing. I like George, but all that new stuff, Phantom Menace and his prequels, those went off the rails too. I think he became the Emperor, you know, with the Emperor with the new clothes. Nobody wanted to tell him that he was naked, you know. Hey, George, you're naked. He's like, oh, I'm going to do what I want to do. Okay, George. This doesn't really work, George. I don't care. I'm the Emperor. Okay. He literally turned into the Emperor in his own franchise. So when he sold it, I was kind of relieved. I'm like, for me, it was done. He was off the rails. So then when Disney took it, they're like, I'm going to do our own thing. Of course he were. So George's like, all right, he's done. He stepped away. But yeah. But the one thing, let me just remind you guys, George did not want Luke and Han and Leia to come back. George was never, when he made the prequels, he was done with those guys. And so the only thing that Disney did was smart was to bring those guys back. But they just did it badly. They brought them back just to kill them. And it was bait. It was just bait. The whole ending of Force Awakens, when she gets to the island, oh my gosh, Luke Skywalker. And then you see Luke and they turn him into this grumpy old man. He takes the lightsaber and throws it over his shoulder. I'm like, this is garbage. And even Mark Hamill was like, this is not what Luke would do. This is completely out of Luke's character. Shut up, actor. Hit your mark and read your lines. He's like, okay. So it's pretty much done. So yep, ruined. Everything's ruined. My childhood's ruined. Yeah, don't worry. It doesn't matter. I still have the first 3. I love those movies. Okay. But again, everybody, thank you so much. Do not forget, do hit like and subscribe. And you like this video, leave comments below. I'll keep you guys updated on the swords. I'm going to probably let these guys dry for a little bit, and then I have to go out and try to see if I can find some leather that's close to the one I have on that handle to wrap the other handles. Because before I start doing any aging on it, I need to age it all at the same time. Can mix up some oils and stuff and do the cracks and crevices on this thing, and finish it all up. But yeah, after this, I think I might make the shoes. And you guys are he has these boots, these great boots he wears, and he fights in them. And we realize that he has to fight these guys in these boots, and they're boots, thick-soled boots, and they look cool for the character. But to fight, you would knock somebody's head off like you would in a movie. But I have to make stunt shoes. So my fans, I never made them before, but I'm very excited. I'm going to make stunt shoes. He's going to have a pair of tennis shoes. We're going to dress them up to make them look like boots. So I might shoot that I might just shoot. I won't do that. Probably won't do that live. I'll probably shoot that as a separate video, just so I can work on it off camera. Just shoot little segments of what I'm doing to tell the story. Again, everybody, guys, thank you so much. Anybody who's been new here, please subscribe to my channel. If you guys like content like this, I have more coming. I'm finishing up the Colonial Marine helmet from Aliens. That pattern is going to be available, which is hopefully, what is it, by the 16th, right? When's the release date? If I can rush. Oh my God, that's right. That's a good deadline. That's what I need to do. I don't think there's any Colonial Marines in it. But I am waiting for some decent pictures. If the movie's any good, I'd definitely like to make one of their guns. Sponge shells, yeah, like there's EVA shoes. They're made of thick EVA, 1-inch EVA foam. But he's be able to like do kicks and roundhouse to these guys, and if he hits them, he won't knock them out. So, because John's quite the fighter, martial artist, and he's getting ready for this film. He has to get himself back in shape. So, yeah, basically stunt. Here's something you guys don't know. On Die Hard, Bruce Willis, when he was running on barefoot, Stan Winston in the studio, they made rubber feet for him to wear. They had shoes dressed up like feet, and you'd slip them on. They were painted, matched his skin tone, and so when Bruce Willis was running up and down these steps and stuff, barefoot, he had shoes on, little rubber shoes. And you never, cause you think about it, he's going up and down these steps and these metal, which will tear your feet up. So yeah, they made rubber shoes for him. Pretty cool. And now you can buy them. They make like rubber slippers with toes in them, which is just ridiculous. They were here and gone in 5 minutes. They're like a trend. Like mountain climbers and guys bought them, and they were everywhere for like 6, 7 months, and then they were gone. Now you can probably find them on eBay. But shoes with toes in them. They're so ridiculous. All right, guys. Thank you so much again, everybody, for watching. Thank you. For everybody, continue support. If you guys like and you want to celebrate my birthday, I should have worn one of my shirts. I'll probably do it when I do a social media post. You can buy a shirt. You can hop over to my website and buy a. Click on the link below at Teespring. You can buy a shirt. You can get a pattern. You can also subscribe, tell your friends, tell them about me, and click through the Amazon link and keep on shopping. If you shop through my Amazon link, helps me keep making money and making videos to keep this happening. Anyway, I got to get back. I'm going to clean up my shop and enjoy my Sunday. Guys, thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you. And I'll catch you back next time right here